Hello and welcome to the Duluth News Tribune's Bulldog Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wellens, the Bulldogs hockey beat reporter at the News Tribune. We're trying something new this week for our first podcast of 2025. Producer Wyatt Buckner and I have gathered our favorite segments from the first half of Season 7 and compiled them into a single best of episode. We're looking to do more of these best of episodes in the future, possibly in the off season. We've had a lot of fun recording this podcast over the last 7 seasons and look forward to reliving some of those in the future. So here's our favorite clips from the first half of the 2024-25 season. Enjoy. You guys are roommates in Duluth here, right?
Yeah.
How's it feel to be roommates again in college as compared to obviously when you lived together under your parents' roof?
It's a little bit different. I have a lot of stuff, so Max is always getting mad about it. But
Yeah, I taped a line down the middle of our room because he's got so much stuff, and I just kind of kick it across because it's actually getting ridiculous.
No, I cleaned it yesterday.
You can ask Shaugabay and Cal, so it's bad.
It's hard. We're selling our house in Hermantown because we have a place on Island Lake. So I got to move all my stuff out of there. So it's either put it in storage or bring it to college. I probably have more than I need, but a little too much, I think.
I was going to say, parents didn't let you guys just stay at the house out there in Hermantown or anything like that? Or are they thinking, we got to sell this place before our boys come back and use it as a party house?
I think they wanted it in one piece.
Yeah.
What's it been like being back in the same city? I mean, you guys spent a couple years separated. Now, I'm sure you talked all the time, but is it like old times when you were in high school before you left Hermantown, or is it taking a little bit of getting used to being around each other every day again?
It's fun. We get sick of each other. Some good fights. I think Cal and Shogs, they're used to it by now. It's only a month in, but they've already suffered enough that they're like, there they go again. But it's been fun.
I think it's just like being able to like watch him play in the other games, like kind of just getting back and being able to practice. Like it's fun to play with him, and even like the other guys on the team, like it's fun to play with just because you know you're gonna play with those guys in the future. You're not talking to them every day, and then now we're all together playing together.
So Cal Arnott and Jayson Shaugabay are your roommates, huh? So those are the two we need to get on the podcast together later this season.
Yeah, you do.
More to just check on their well-being, it sounds like here. What?
They got matching tattoos together.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We survived living with the Plante Brothers?
They'll tell you about it.
Do those two have to referee disputes between you two?
Not too bad. They kind of sit there and like, well,
we just laugh.
They sit there and laugh, but normally Ty Hans is in our room and he tries to egg us on, so he's trying to.
He's been around forever.
Yeah, he's been around it, so he knows how to get us going.
He knows exactly what buttons to push.
Yeah, so he'll like say something to somebody to get the other guy going. He tries to start some fights. He's also good at ending it here and there too when he's sick of it. But
Sam, what'd you learn about yourself the last 2 years in Chicago and in Fargo, which couldn't be more different cities to live in, and how beneficial was it for you to go back to Fargo for a full season there?
I think just being able to play. Junior hockey is a long season, so you start to learn more about yourself, learn what you need to do to be at the top of your game every night. And I think going back last year definitely helped me with that. I didn't have to worry about school, just focus on hockey, and it showed what I needed to do to play well, and when I was playing well, what I was doing to get there. So it helps going into college and then having some confidence after having a good year. So,
how's the shoulder feeling?
Good.
That thing's taking a beating.
I know it's not good, but it's feeling good. It's feeling strong. So
it's like you're Brett Favre playing for the Vikings, and Sean Payton's got a bounty on you or something out there in hockey. Max, what was it like for you being part of the USA Hockey National Team development program? That's a really unique, cool experience.
Yeah, it definitely is. Just for anyone that doesn't know much about the program, it's just all the guys are on one age group. They kind of pick a team. Maybe not like they try to pick the best guys, but also the right ones, just to be a part of a group for 2 years. And obviously it's a bunch of like type A personalities, like the best players pushing each other every day. So I was really grateful for that. I thought it helped me a lot, like just on the ice and off the ice. Like I had to move away from home, get a different perspective on life without my parents every day. And then, like being there, looking forward to getting back here. So
can you take us, what's a typical average day like for someone in the NTTB?
Yeah. So for me, I'd always so the first U17 year, I had to pick up a couple teammates. So normally I'd wake up at like 6:45, 7. We had school at 8:30, so I'd try to get to the rink by like 7:30, like get some stretching in, shoot some pucks. And then we had online school where we'd all do it for like an hour and a half in the school. And then we did some at home too, but after that, we go to the gym, warm up for practice. We'd have skill ice and goalie ice for a half hour on the Olympic sheet, so we had 2 sheets. And then you go from that sheet, and then you go to the other sheet for practice for an hour. Then they'd Zamboni that for an hour, and then we'd have another practice for an hour. So we'd have like 2.5 hours on the ice a day. And then we'd go either eat a little snack and then get to the gym right away. Because the U17 year was really hard where we'd have like 2-hour workouts Monday through Thursday. So that was new. It was fun. But also really hard. Like if you don't like hockey, you don't like being at the rink, you don't want to be there. So I recommend you like hockey if you want to go there. And then normally I'd eat lunch normally around like 3:34 and then get out of the rink at like 5 o'clock, 5:30, and then just go home and watch TV and go to bed.
That's like a full day of that's like a 9 to 5 job you basically had there the last 2 years.
Sounds like.
That's a little different than your junior and senior years at Hermantown,
last
right,
year
Sam?
I'd go to the rink, get a workout in. We had a great training program there in Fargo. We'd have good practice, and then normally I'd go pheasant hunting. So that was my day.
For you two, what's it been like being part of this large freshman class that's all come in together? And I'm wondering if it helps having this many newcomers coming in together, or what's that like? Cal, I'll start with you. You're one of the older guys among this group of freshmen.
Yeah, Shaugs lets me know I'm an old man, 1 year older than him. But no, I think it's been great. I think it helps all of us living in an apartment together. So we hang out every night, watch movies. We've been playing a lot of pickleball, basketball. Yeah, dumbing, tie at basketball, but
Fortnite.
We've been playing a lot of video games now. That's getting colder actually, but I think just having us all there and then learning from like our older guys like Dom and Gally, I think they've been really great to us, kind of showing us like these are your brothers for the next 4 years. So I think we really embrace that. So I think I've loved it. Yeah, having a lot of freshmen to kind of learn with and grow with.
Yeah, pretty much just what he's saying. You get so close with these guys already, like with Cal and Max and Zam and the other freshmen that live in the apartment. We're already so close, and it's Halloween. So we're already like brothers already, and just what he was saying. Dom and Gally and some of those older guys really preached to us that these are going to be your brothers for life, and I think we really took it to heart.
Who's the best pickleball player?
Probably me.
No, I think
No, not me. Definitely not me.
I don't know. Zam's got this serve that's just like should be illegal. I
don't even know
he
what it
spins
is.
the ball and it's like, all right, relax. Like,
He tries the hardest.
I know, he
Tries the
Sam
hardest.
can't lose at anything.
No.
Yeah.
Who's the best basketball player?
I think it's me for sure.
Yeah.
Cal? Yeah.
Well, he's also got one at his house back in Toronto.
No,
Oh, okay.
No, I grind on the court.
Did you guys play other sports in high school? Did you play basketball, Cal?
No, I played lacrosse actually.
Okay.
Field lacrosse.
Played golf.
He says with a smile.
Yeah.
For those people
Yeah.
that are just listening.
Yeah. Hey, Dylan Sandberg was a big golfer too.
Yeah.
Got into a pro event.
He's
this
now a
last-
professional.
Yeah, now
Were you
a
a good
professional golfer.
I'm all right. You think
Beat
I'm a
him.
good golfer?
I beat him last round.
He did not beat me.
Last round of the year. Yeah,
You
I
and
did.
Ty did.
You had Bency.
2-on-1?
Yeah.
No, it was 2-on-2. Straight up. Beat him.
They are like brothers.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they are getting there already. Who's the best gamer? Who's Fortnite player? Who's the best?
Well, so we got a leaderboard. So we play Fortnite.
Yeah.
And we got a leaderboard of everyone's wins. Zam right now has the most wins.
He's got the most. Okay, but he also
It's
has
controversial. 'Cause he is-
quadruple games played.
He plays a lot of
only
games.
plays.
Oh,
Fortnite.
okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
play like two a day. He plays at least 9.
Yeah.
Okay. He's specialized.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This once again follows Zach's. Zam can't lose at anything.
Right.
Oh, no.
He lets us know.
He yells at that TV.
What is it like living with the Plante Brothers? Cal, you're gonna start.
Well, I think just one word would be entertaining. Like every night it's something new.
It's a treat for sure.
Oh, yeah. But like if I was living with my brother, it'd be the same thing. But it's funny being just kind of on the side listening, and you got to pick and choose your side. So I think it's a win-win for us. We can't lose an argument. So
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Jason, you called it a treat, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're very entertaining. With
Do
each
they
other.
make you pick sides?
yeah, they
try.
try to bring us into it.
They'll be fighting, and then they'll be like, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll be like, what?
Max will be like, well, Cal and Shaug agree with me. I just like, we just kind of stare at the TV if it gets too serious.
Yeah. Do you have to call in Ty? We heard Ty not only maybe eggs on fights, but also has after all these years, knows how to stop them.
Oh yeah, he'll just like if Zam or whatever is and they're fighting her, he'll just be like, Jason, hit them or hit them. I'm like, I'm not hitting them. You can hit them. I'm not hitting them. But no, he definitely he knows how to take care of those two.
You guys haven't had to call like their parents at all yet. You don't have like their parents.
No, we call Ty.
Just call Ty. Just call Ty. Ty's overseeing.
Ty will either shut it down or keep him going.
Ty's the dad of the apartment.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Max told us we have to ask you two about all the stuff that Zam has. That sounded like it's an ongoing.
Jason rolled his eyes. So start with him.
He's just got stuff everywhere. Like everywhere you look, you'll see something of Zam's, and it's not put away. It's everywhere. His room was a mess. He cleaned it up a little bit, but
What kind of stuff? Are we talking clothes?
I think it's everything.
hunting stuff.
I was gonna say hunting stuff.
A million shoes, a million hats, like stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I think
Everywhere.
when Zam leaves something in our little living room and Max has to pick it up, he'll make sure he sees us. He'll make sure
he'll take a video of it.
Yeah, he'll take a video. He'll say, well, this is Zam's again, and then walk away.
Or the dishes is a problem.
Yeah.
They've gotten mad at the dishes.
They've gotten mad at the dishes.
Well, because let's say Zam will make food or something and then not clean any of it up.
Yep.
And then Max will get.
Then Max is the one that gets mad.
Yeah, and then they have a full-on fight about it.
So I always see like the memes on the internet is the older brother is the one who is like the clean and tidy one, and the middle child, which is Max, is the crazy one. That's flipped.
Yeah.
That's definitely flipped.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you guys used to fights yet? But they did say they feel like this was like a month into you guys probably living together that you've suffered enough already. I feel like they do recognize that their fights are sometimes a burden on them. Or are you just used to them by now?
Well, I had an idea. Obviously, growing up with an older brother, you don't always see eye to eye, and a lot of fights happen. So, but I think like lately they've been better because Zam's been hunting a lot, so they haven't been around each other. But but the first month was crazy.
It was really bad, actually, yeah.
Well, they had some years of probably, I'm assuming, brotherly fights to catch up on.
Yeah, I was going to say they'd been apart for so long that they probably forgot what it was like.
All right. These are like your basic roommate questions. I mean, I think we already know the answer to this one. Who in your apartment is the messiest? Zam?
Zam, yeah.
Zam, yeah. Who's the cleanest?
Jason.
No, I think
It's 100% me.
no. Well, Max cleans the room sometimes.
I clean the bathroom. That's the worst spot.
That's so fake, but
It's not
I think
fake.
it's Max. I think Max is the cleanest in our room.
No.
What, Jason, you're the one that's willing to clean the bathroom?
Yeah, I clean the bathroom. I don't get any credit for it.
I think that's major points.
No one's ever
Right
seen him
there.
clean the bathroom.
As the person who has to clean.
Yeah, because I do it when you all go to bed.
Is the bathroom clean?
No.
Oh,
Well, I clean it every once in a while. I don't clean it all the time.
Which teammate, past or present, would make a good partner as a cop? I know you're looking to have a dog as a partner. So who's the runner-up? If you couldn't have a dog, what teammate would you want as your partner?
I would say Danny Bergen.
Danny Bergen.
Yeah.
Why would she make a good partner?
You know, she can toss bodies around. If I'm ever in a struggle, I know that she has my back, and I feel like if there's specifically out of my roommates, she'd be the next one up. That if there was anything that I needed someone to run towards with and not run away, she'd be that person.
That's the muscle, right there.
Yeah.
Which coach, past or present, would make a good chief of police?
Maura Kroll.
Maura Kroll?
Oh yeah, her words are very inspirational.
Okay.
And she can get if it's not getting done, you'll know about it. So.
Which teammate, past or present, would you not be surprised to pull over, stop, or even arrest?
I would say Jenna Lowry just because she always makes those jokes. Like, let me know what county you're working in. So
Just like she can avoid it?
no,
Or
so she can come flying by me.
Come cause trouble?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's going to drop she gets pulled over. She's going to drop your name.
Oh yeah.
That's
100%.
the most likely you're going to get like a call. There's a person who says they know you, Gabby, and you're going to be like, is it Jenna Lowry?
Yeah,
Even know who
seriously.
my friend is?
Make sure you give them a ticket. Like,
Which coach, past or present, would you not be surprised to pull over, stop, or even arrest?
I would say Shu.
Shu.
Yeah.
Really?
I feel like because her mindset is just kind of all over the place sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd run a stop sign and not even know about it. So
Be totally innocent
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, but just, yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Would Shu be the person most likely to talk herself out of a ticket, though, too?
Oh no, she would just giggle the entire time.
Oh, okay.
I think Coach Liv
Coach Liv
would
could
be
talk herself out of a ticket?
out of it.
I thought maybe you're going to, I was going to say for Coach that you could arrest would be Laura Bellamy. For like
That'd be another good one.
Laura Bellamy, yeah, white collar crime. Those Harvard people, you
Yeah.
know. Which teammate, past or present, would make a good lawyer?
Clara Van Wieren.
Clara Van Wieren.
Yep. I mean, that's what she's going to school for. So
Is she going to school for
I believe so.
law? Okay. I know she's got like an administration and she's like done an internship with the athletic department and stuff. But
Yeah.
okay.
and it's nice because she like speaks her opinion like loud and proud.
She
Yeah.
win a lot of arguments in the locker room?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Which coach would make a good lawyer?
Maura Kroll.
Maura Kroll?
We had this debate in the locker room too, because we always do a question of the day, and I think it was my sophomore year. It was either Lou or Coach. So Coach won.
Coach won. Coach
Yeah.
won that one.
Yep.
She is. She's a good speaker.
She is.
She'd nail the closing argument.
Oh, yeah.
Argument, definitely.
I'd fear her.
The teammate or coach, past or present, who could pull off the perfect crime.
I'd have to go with myself. A
You're
lot
okay.
of people say that. So
Do you guys study in criminology like the perfect crime?
honestly, there's not a lot of classes towards the police. It's more
Really?
so like corrections and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
We'll have to keep an eye out when you're hired about any inside jobs.
Yeah,
There. And then
seriously.
Departed is like, I mean, that whole movie's about an inside
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
So
yeah.
What is the perfect crime, Gabby?
You know, if I didn't like you, I'd slash 3 out of your 4 tires because the insurance won't cover it then.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
All 4 need to before it becomes an insurance thing?
Apparently, that's what I heard. Or you put like Lick a Jolly Rancher and put it on the window, it like shatters. The only way it comes off is you have to shatter the window.
This is why you listen
Wow.
to the Bulldog Insider Podcast.
I
This
didn't
is an
know
educational
either
podcast.
of those things. Did you?
No,
or
I
apparently, if
didn't.
you put like bologna on a car and like the hot, it'll take like the paint off.
I've heard that one.
Yeah.
I've heard like same with like eggs or whatever will ruin your paint and stuff like that.
Does it have to be cold out when you put the Jolly Rancher on the windshield? Like what's the science behind it? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Who knows? I just heard it somewhere and I've stuck with it.
It's just I try it, it just sits there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk up to one of my neighbors that has like an old car sitting out back on blocks and be like, "Hi, can I put a Jolly Rancher on your windshield? I just want to see what happens."
Yeah.
Back at Waterloo, what's the craziest thing
Well,
you
I
heard
mean-
from the stand?
It's not really nice things. It's more just like,
Oh.
yeah. So I don't know. Like a lot of people thought I was a bit too dangerous, like kind of like I was gonna hurt someone. So that wasn't too nice. But luckily here, like you're playing against like such strong players that they don't really like fall down. So I
Too
think that was
dangerous.
just
You were considered. You are a I noticed that about you right away. You're a physical player. You're not afraid to go through those 3 people when they get on you, and you're able to hold on to the puck still. But in Waterloo, did that physical style not always rub some parents the right way?
I don't think so. And it's fair. Like you gotta kind of know what the refs are gonna call, and you have to know who you're playing against. So that's also on me. But yeah, not they just want their kid to be safe. So makes sense. Yeah.
They don't call much in the WCHA. You'll be just fine
Yeah.
playing physical in this league. Caitlin, tell us about Waterloo, Ontario, where you grew up. What's it like there, just growing up and playing hockey?
I would say like just like the area. It's very much like Duluth, just like how the people are. We don't necessarily have a huge lake right beside us, but kind of like the same like weather and everything. But hockey, like I think it's a very like well developed like hockey town. It's very easy to get started there and kind of like find like kind of grow in the program. I was lucky enough to stay in the same program throughout my whole minor hockey career, which was really cool. Like not a lot of people can say that. It was fun just kind of staying with the same group almost every year. Yeah, I think it's just a great place to develop. There's lots of like, I had Laura McIntosh be like a main person who did my skill development, and she worked with when the PWHPA, like she was Team Sonic, I think, the head coach was there. So, and she was at Ohio Buckeye, so she had a lot of experience, and I was grateful that she was kind of in the area. But I would say it was just a great kind of hockey town. Yeah, I was lucky to grow up there.
A lot of kids have to, end up moving away to play, somewhere else, a higher level of hockey. How fortunate do you think you were that you got to, play hockey basically in your hometown your entire life?
Yeah, I think it was pretty lucky, and probably also lucky for my parents to avoid much driving, especially since I don't have my license still. But I think, yeah, just fortunate to kind of, and I think it was kind of easy, like, to kind of go up level because, like, coaches know you. They and you when you have respect along the program, they know that, like, you're not going to be kind of a bad egg. So I think just earning, like, respect there and kind of keeping it was a big part of, like, being able to go up in programs.
Are there others from Waterloo, either girls that were older than you, teammates that you've had that are in the NCAA or have played college hockey?
Yeah, my first 2 years with my junior team, I had Katina Ducio, who plays at SLU. She was a big leader, and I looked up to her a lot. And then last year, I was lucky enough to be teammates with Abby Stonehouse. We actually lived together. She billeted with me, which was a riot, but it was lots of fun. She plays at Penn State now. So yeah, like it kind of comes and goes, but it's just kind of fun to, like, I know like my first years, it was really nice having Kat being someone to look up to.
At what age did you think that college hockey was kind of in your future? Was it the Olympics that you watched Laura coach with Hockey Canada? What kind of triggered this as the path that you wanted to take?
Well, I feel like when I was growing up, the pathway wasn't as like kind of known as it is now, especially like with media. I feel like the pathway to kind of having like Team Canada is a little more known, and like kind of everyone's stories are getting out. But for me, I would say it was when I was in Pittsburgh for a showcase, and I was watching Wisconsin and Colgate playing like a mini tournament thing. And like that's kind of when I got introduced to college hockey. And yeah, I think it was just watching that game and kind of doing my research on the teams. That kind of got me into it. So yeah, I think it's just, I got exposed to it then. And yeah.
You also grew up playing soccer, right?
Yeah.
Your family is actually a big soccer family, right? Yeah. So you have two older sisters who play at Maine. How did you end up being the hockey player of the family? And your younger sister, is she also, did I read, she's also a soccer player?
Yeah.
Okay, how did you end up in hockey and your other three sisters are the soccer players, primarily soccer players?
Yeah, well, everyone kind of like, we all started playing hockey soccer, and then kind of our grade 9 year, we kind of picked which one we wanted to focus on. But hockey, like my dad was really into hockey. He was in the OHL for, I think, 4 years, and then played at the University of Waterloo. And so he was big into hockey, and I think it kind of stuck. I actually like hated hockey my first like years of skating, and then it wasn't until like the competition started coming that I was like, oh, I kind of want to do this and focus on this. But I think it's just, we picked what we liked best. I think I liked the hockey culture more, of kind of having close teammates and everything. So I think that's what got me into hockey. And then obviously my sisters have found their success in soccer, which is really exciting to see. But I think it's just who we are, and like we just picked what kind of went best with us. Your
sisters play soccer at Maine, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Did they try at all to recruit you to go play hockey at Maine?
Yeah, they kind of did. They talked with the hockey coach and stuff, and I know I wanted to be in the WCHA, so they didn't have much luck. So yeah.
And you said you want to play physical, so again, WCHA, perfect league to do it. Hockey East, ECAC, You might have parents yelling at you from the stands for being dangerous. I love that Caitlin Kraemer is considered, dangerous in the junior ranks of Canada. Why did you want to come back in 2021?
Yeah,
I wrote about this. They pass you up for the head coaching job. You end up at Dartmouth for a little bit, coaching the Olympics.
Yeah.
Had a lot of opportunities in there. And 2021, you decided to come back to Duluth. What brought you back here?
When we kind of first left, it was hard. I didn't want to leave. I absolutely love Duluth. I love the program. I love the girls that, I got the incredible honor to be able to coach and get to know as people. And so, leaving was hard for me. And I had actually called Maura. My wife and I, we were trying to get back to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Minnesota, so we had a lot of close friends and family here. Over the 7 years that I was here, got to know so many wonderful people from this community. So we really wanted to get back to Minnesota. And I had called Maura about another head coaching position that I was a finalist for. And she had just said, if that doesn't turn out, would you ever consider coming back and working here with us? And I was like, absolutely, it's a no-brainer. My wife's sister lives right here in Duluth. Now we're 5 streets up from them. And, so it's so wonderful to be surrounded by people who support you, love you, and, at the same time, you get to do what you're passionate about.
Was it a difficult thing? You said it's a no-brainer, but was it difficult at all going back to 2015, getting passed over at that time when they hired Maura for the head coaching job to then return to the program? So much had changed, I think, in that 6 or 7 year span, but was it difficult at all to come back to Duluth after what happened?
Not at all. Not at all. I think just because when I think of this area, oftentimes, even while I was gone, we would come back here in the summers, to be around friends and family. So for us, as soon as that opportunity opened up, we wanted to make sure we jumped on it.
Looking at what you did in those 6 years, you got a chance to go coach in the Olympics. You got a chance to go be with Hockey Canada and rise the ranks there. I mean, obviously, I think the emotions were pretty raw in 2015, but looking back on the last 6 or 7 years, I said on our season opening podcast, it's impossible to look at the Maura Kroll era here at UMD and call it anything but a success. And I think your 6 or 7 years have been really good too since that happened. And so it kind of seems like everything's worked out as we go forward now here in 24-25.
Yeah, absolutely. And when, I did get passed over back then, Mel Davidson from Hockey Canada had called me right away and had offered me the head position. And so for the next 4 years, I was able to do that and learned so much through that experience, my 4 years there with Hockey Canada leading up into the Olympics. And I got to work with so many NHL coaches. So that was just so cool to be able to, grow my knowledge of the game and to build rapport with some of those coaches. And now I have, good relationships with them to be able to call those coaches, ask them questions, things like that. So, everything kind of worked out for the better.
All right, the reporter in me, and you already brought up one of them that I need to follow up. The reporter in me regrets not following up with a couple questions from your introductory press conference. The first one, I think we can all do the math and know maybe what head coaching job you applied for and you were up for it in 2021. Yep. Do you want to share which one that was?
It was St. Thomas.
It was St. Thomas, right? Yeah. And you had applied at Mankato too, hadn't you?
Yeah.
What is wrong? I remember when you got passed over at Mankato. I was like, "What is going?" And no offense to John Harrington or anything like that. I think I told you this. I was in 2015. I was big on. I think I was probably one of the first reporters that asked you when they announced that they weren't bringing back Shannon. I think I jumped on you right away and went, "Are you applying for the head coaching job?" And I probably caused a little bit of a stir. And I thought you were a top candidate in 2015 for this job. But when Mankato passed you over, I was like, what are they doing? And again, no offense to Joel Johnson, but St. Thomas, what are you doing? But there was another job you said you applied for, a men's assistant coach job.
Yeah,
Which one was
UVM. University of Vermont. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I was a finalist for that, and that was an incredible opportunity and just experience that I was able to go through. And to this day now, even as I've gone through the hiring process, as far as like hiring people, I've gone back to my experience there and what they had me do because it was really great. Todd Woodcroft at the time had me break down a bunch of video. I did some power play stuff for him, some 5-on-5 offensive zone stuff. So it was really cool to kind of go through that experience and see how they do it on the men's side. And now since then, I have definitely incorporated that on our side, on the women's side, when we're hiring coaches to be a part of our programs.
We had mentioned you coach in the Olympics. You said you've worked with NHL coaches and stuff. You're at that development camp with the Washington Capitals in 2022. What was that experience like?
Unbelievable. Peter Laviolette is probably like the nicest person on earth. Made you feel so comfortable. His entire staff was absolutely wonderful, so welcoming. But got to learn a lot there as well. He totally shared all of his tactics, what they do. And it was really neat just to be there firsthand to kind of see how they go about their day. And I will tell you this, it's the exact same of, what we do on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of what we do on a day-to-day basis is what I've taken from Hockey Canada and what I've learned through there. And, kind of when you look at that too, obviously, everything that you learn there is from the NHL too, because they have their NHL coaches coming in and coaching their national program. So it was nice to see that what we're doing is very similar to what they're doing in the NHL.
Has the NHL or is the NHL, is that something you would ever be interested in? Because everyone we talk to, you're really highly regarded as a hockey mind.
Yeah.
And such.
Thank you.
It seems like you would, but with your resume and your knowledge of the game, that you would be a good fit. I bugged Maura. I thought maybe you were going to get poached by the PWHL a year ago when that league started. But the NHL, is that something you would ever consider?
I think if an opportunity ever came knocking, that I would definitely consider it. But I'm just so excited to be where I'm at right now and so honored. And again, to be somewhere where you absolutely love the city, you love the people, you love the community, and you get to do what you love to do each and every day is just a dream.
Guys, since Adam died, what's been interesting from my perspective is the connection he's had between a lot of you guys at Hermantown. Darian Goetz told us on the podcast last year about being babysat by Adam, which was a lot of fun. Joey and Aaron, how well did you know Adam, and what kind of impact did he make on your lives? Aaron, I know he had a significant impact on yours.
Yeah, no, Adam was he was like another big brother for me. I had a lot of them like that, but he lived with me in college for 2 years, and I slept on their couch for a couple of those nights. And so I got to know him really well, and he also played with my brother in Sioux City and juniors as well. And so probably 3 or 4 years straight, I was watching Adam play. And so we just got super close with them, and my brother was best friends with him. So we watched a couple of his pro games as well. We went out to Wilkes-Barre Scranton a couple of times and stuff like that. So just a super good family connection with them, and got to know him very well and watch him grow up and play in college and pro and everything. That was super cool as well.
Any good stories from those nights that you can share on the podcast, crashing on the couch of that hockey house?
That's not too many.
Or was that when they were at Oakland?
So the first year was when they were at Oakland, and and so the benefit was because I went to school at Holy Rosary out on the East End, and so it actually benefited me. Neil just dropped me off in the morning at school, and so my parents didn't have to drive the 30 minutes out there. And then the next year was when they were at their hockey house. That was the first year they had it. And so there was nothing really. It was like a Tuesday afternoon. I'd go stay over there. So nothing really. But I just remember sitting there watching Shark Tank with them. Those guys were all business majors. So they kind of understand what was going on. I was just clueless. I was probably 12 or something. I was clueless sitting there watching. But I had a great time with those guys. They just made me feel really comfortable hanging out with them.
How old were you at that time?
Let's see. I would have been I think it was like 6th grade or something.
Okay.
Yeah. 6th grade. 6th, 7th grade, maybe, something like that.
6th, 7th grade. So you weren't there on the Fridays and Saturday nights at the hockey house.
Yeah,
they didn't let you around during those times.
No, I don't think I was allowed for those ones. But yeah, like a Tuesday afternoon, eating a pizza with my brother was a good night for me. So that's what I would do.
Joey, did you know Adam?
Yeah, kind of through Aaron and Neil a little bit, just in the summers, whether skating then or skating at Amsoil during COVID. Just different skates, and it was always a blast when he was there. You could tell he brought the room up. He brought everyone up, just always joking. He was awesome to have around, and the little bit I knew him, it was pretty special, and I cherished that.
Where do you guys see his impact on the Bulldog hockey program and hockey in northern Northeast Minnesota. Because, yeah, he was a Hibbing guy and Bulldogs, but it seemed like, again, we talk about the connection he's had with Hermantown guys and such. His reach was pretty far.
Yeah, I think it was a big impact. Like you said, like he shows that small town kind of mentality and stuff like that. His uncle and dad played here at UMD, I think. Yeah, uncle for sure.
Yeah,
I believe dad as well. So that too, just in that, like 3 guys out of that family from a small town, Hibbing. So that's super cool, and like it just shows. I think it shows a lot of kids in like the small towns like that how far they can really go with it in hockey and everything like that. And he was just a great kid. Like growing up in Hibbing, he was known around the state for being one of the best players in the state of Minnesota for hockey, and coming out of town of, I don't know what Hibbing is, maybe 3,000 to 5,000, something like that. It's super cool that you can do that. And then with years following with Scotty Prunovich and guys like that coming from the same town as well, it's so cool that small town connections like that happen here at UMD. That's one thing that we live on and strive on for our community to keep going.
Yeah, I think that's everything to build off that. But just growing up in a small town, it just shows that it can be done, and people are doing it. And I mean, he's very special. You see the video of him scoring a goal in the NHL, and that's every kid's dream. And so that, on top of just everything you hear about him, all the stories that were shared and how special of a person he was to be around, and that's just pretty special, I think. And people understand that. And then another thing is neck guards during games. Like you see that we both wear them. You see guys on our team wearing them, guys on other college teams wearing them, and then that shows all the other youth players too that it's important, and it's there's nothing wrong with wearing a neck guard, that's for sure. And so that's another part of it that we see as well.
You're brought up the Red Wings because you're a Michigan kid, Plymouth, Michigan. Which how far is that from downtown Detroit?
Yeah, like 25 minutes.
Yeah, like 25 minutes. Yeah. You never say you're from Detroit though, right? You're not one of those people.
Well, I'll say Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor, yeah. Okay. So that brings me to a good question here. Take us through your recruiting process. How does a kid that grows up, not too far from the Michigan Wolverines? There's 7 college hockey programs in the state of Michigan. None of them sponsor Division I women's hockey, strangely, but you got 7 programs in the state. 3 are in the UP, granted, which is basically another state. How did you end up a Bulldog here in Minnesota?
Yeah, for me, it kind of all just blew up one week, and I was having a good 15U season. I got hurt that year, so I was kind of off the map, and then North Dakota was one of the first teams that came and watched me as a school, and then a lot of the NCHC teams started calling, and then obviously the Michigan teams were completely involved. So for me, Jason Herter came to Michigan for the state tournament just out of nowhere. He actually played with my coach at Notre Dame Hounds, so he was there, talked to my dad a bit, and then I was like, all right, I don't know what UMD is at that point, and then they win back-to-back national championships, and I think I committed the next day after that without even visiting or anything like that. I think, just my conversations with Krause, he made me so comfortable, and that's what you want. And then you hear all the great things about Sandy through my agent. He's been around a long time, both of them. So that's kind of what it was, feeling comfortable and feeling like I could get to the next step, because my end goal is going to the NHL, and I have no plan B.
So you committed to UMD without ever visiting Amsoil or the city of Duluth?
I think I went to Minnesota one time in my life. I was 12 years old for a tournament in the cities. So, and I didn't even know it was the cities at that point. Like, I had no idea what anything was. I knew they played high school hockey, but that was it.
Not the Mall of America.
Yeah, we thought it was the Mall of America.
Yeah,
but that was
Mall
it.
of America was there.
You thought it was the only city in Minnesota?
Right. I thought I was in Minnesota, and that was it. I saw everything. So, yeah, I had never visited or anything.
Had every Michigan school reached out to you?
Yeah. I mean, the majority of the ones that we decided to call back were definitely heavily involved, for sure.
Yeah. How much? So at that time you're getting recruited, but you're not an NHL draft pick. You actually didn't get drafted until after your freshman year here at UMD, which is a little different than a lot of other guys. All these guys that came in, they've already been drafted a year, 2, some 3 before getting to UMD. How much did that change the course of your hockey career when the Blackhawks took you after your freshman year?
Oh, greatly. I think, coming in, I kind of burst onto the scene and at UMD, and, getting that call for World Juniors kind of, gave me a lot more confidence as well. And then, teams start calling and your agent starts letting you know. And then, the rounds started going by that summer, and I thought maybe I wasn't going to even go. And then, thankfully I was picked by the Blackhawks in the 6th round. So for that to happen, it kind of just made me realize, like, I can do this. And, I always thought I was good. I always thought I was a focused guy. And then when that stuff started happening, it took me to a whole new level for sure. I couldn't be more grateful for that organization to have picked me up because, they treat me like a pro player in college. So can't thank them enough.
Before you get drafted by the Blackhawks, even maybe before your freshman year, you talked about, you picked UMD, you think that's a school that can get you to the NHL. At that point, are you still thinking like, maybe I can be an NHL draft pick, or are you thinking like long-term, I'm looking for a school at this point to maybe prepare me as an undrafted free agent to go where I want?
Yeah, for me, my first year eligible, I was sitting there in my billet house, kind of just like maybe my name will pop up. Maybe filled out like one survey that 10 other guys on my team filled out. So I always thought I had it, and I thought maybe just one guy likes me, he'll take me. But there was no back end of that. I was not getting drafted my first 2 years. There was no talking to many teams, and then like I said, when I became a freshman here, so I didn't really ever think about the undrafted or drafted kind of thing. I just it was always the NHL, I think. Mm-hmm. Just that's all I was thinking about. So once I found out what being an undrafted guy meant and all that kind of came into play when my agent, explained it. But when I was younger, I was just like, I didn't get drafted again, or just kind of didn't think about it.
I like when most people around the globe picture the United States, very little about Wisconsin, and probably specifically Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, comes to mind. Give me your first impressions of Wisconsin and Chippewa Falls, and how that compared to like what you had pictured the United States being growing up.
Well, I've been to United States a few times before, but it was like, like Las Vegas, LA, Florida, Chicago. So it was something very different, obviously.
Very similar to Wisconsin, right?
Vegas, Wisconsin, same thing, same amount of alcohol flowing.
Yeah, so obviously it was very different, but like, I don't really care like where I am, like playing in Chippewa or Green Bay or now here in Duluth. Like I'm just focused for hockey, that like some guys were in Chippewa, like, there is nothing to do, And like I didn't really care because like I just go to the rink, go home, like do all the stuff I have to do to get better in hockey. So I wasn't like, like there is nothing to do in Chippewa. Like I loved it there, and I was close to the rink. Like, I had great billets. So I was like, I don't mind if I'm in Chippewa or Chicago, like for me, it's pretty much not the same thing, but it doesn't really matter because I'm here to play hockey and, ice is always the same. So that's how I was looking at it.
You mentioned you play a couple games in the Null Showcase there in Blaine, and you had NHL teams, college teams, but you mentioned USHL teams were also talking to you. You eventually went to the Gamblers just for 10 games and then went back to Chippewa Falls. Why stay in Chippewa Falls for the entire season and not make the jump to the USHL? Because that's what a lot of players would do. They jump at the chance to go from the North American League to the USHL. Why did you wait until going to Green Bay till last year?
Well, as I said, before the season, I had 0 options. That my only option was Chippewa. And I just had such a great relationship with coach and was thankful to him, in Chippewa, that I didn't feel like leaving, the team and him is the right option. So I went to Green Bay and also they could protect me for next year and then came back to Chippewa because that's what I feel like is right to do. And like I said, I loved it there. And without Coach Casey giving me a chance, like, I would be probably still in Slovakia, and I don't know if I would be playing hockey because playing hockey in Slovakia is obviously not great, So like I said, I was just so thankful for him that like I didn't feel like I want to leave,
Is that so? From my understanding, you could have come to, after that year in Chippewa Falls, could you have come to UMD right away?
Yeah.
but you decided to go to Green Bay. I'm assuming it's not just because you're a Green Bay Packer fan or something like that. Why still go to Green Bay and wait to go to college? You get drafted and everything. Your patience with this whole process has always stood out to me, because we don't always see that with players.
Yeah. So again, the bigger reason was that's what my promise to Green Bay. You know, like, yeah, I'm here for those 10 games, so you protect my rights for the next year. So that was the big reason for it, that, you know, like, that was just the plan, you know, and I didn't feel like I want to change it, even though when Coach Sandelin called me, like, it's hard to say no, but like he kind of like wasn't pressuring me or anything, you know, like, even with, you know, like, probably he give, like, when he talked to some guys, he tell them, like, you know, like, let me know if you want to commit here in 2 weeks. Like, I made him wait for a few months. You know, I committed in December. So he was never pressuring me. He was always great to me. And even with that decision, he just gave me the option, because I obviously had a really good year. So he told me, like, well, if you want to come, like, you know, like, we want you. But if not, like, take your time. Like, it's up to you, you know. So I just felt like in that moment that was the right thing to do. And like I said, in format development, like, playing a lot of games I felt like would help me. And another big thing was, like I said, that I basically told Green Bay that I'll be there for the year. So
what I'm hearing is that you're a loyal guy. And so that's 4 seasons in Duluth, right? That's what you signed up for, right?
I didn't say that. I don't know. I don't know if it's year 2, 3, or 4. Like, I don't know. I'm just looking at this year, and obviously the results are not the best right now, but I feel like the second half, like, will be a lot better. I can feel improvements, and I'm just looking at this year, and we'll see what happens after.
Yeah,
so
I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have this week on the Bulldog Insider Podcast. We'll be back with normal episodes next week. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Like us, subscribe, and rate us. For more Bulldogs hockey coverage, visit the Duluth News Tribune at duluthnewstribune.com/Bulldog Insider. Subscribe to gain access to all of our coverage all season long. Thanks, everyone, as always, for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next week.